Ladies and gentlemen, April is actually pretty stacked for the Switch 2, and you probably know of a few of the bigger games, but you might have missed some of the smaller ones. So in this video, we're going to go over some amazing games that came out recently that you need to check out, right? It's very simple here, so let's go ahead and get right into this video. That's right, we're going to go over 7 games today that I think you should be playing, that I think are really good, that I think are awesome. Or is that actually incorrect? I think 6 of them are good. I think one of them I was a little too hard on initially, but I'm still going to recommend it. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And let's go and get right into this. So the first game we're talking about today is PRAGMATA. Now, I don't know how Capcom is currently doing whatever Capcom is currently doing, but with support for the Nintendo Switch 2, they should get some kind of award here, right? Everything that they're putting on the Switch 2 is just amazing right now. And with PRAGMATA, it's a new IP, it seems very ambitious, so I thought maybe, I don't want this to happen, but maybe this would be their first miss on the Switch 2, but I was 100% wrong. They just did an incredible job on this port. Now that I think about it, the Switch 2 has this little, I don't want to say problem, but this whole theme currently, at least it's 2 games so far, where you're a small girl riding on the back of another person. We have PRAGMATA, and I can think of another little game that had the same kind of thing going on. Now, all jokes aside, this game is fantastic. It's not the longest game. I want to say about 12 to 15 hours, depending on how fast you play and your play style. But I think that is the perfect length. And if you are on the fence about this one, there is a demo. And I do think that demo is great and kind of tells you like what's going on and explains the style of gameplay here, because it's a little different, but they definitely have got it knocked out of the park. So I cannot recommend this one enough. Now we have to talk about Mouse PI for Hire. So I remember seeing this game on Twitter, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, at least that long, and thinking that's a cool concept, but that's all this is, right? It only seems like a cool concept. It's like one of those things like, hey, could you imagine if this was a video game type of thing? And then I just kept seeing it over and over, and I'm like, wait, is this actually a game in development? So I do think this game was delayed a few times, and as cool as the art style is that going to translate to great gameplay, right? And I've heard a couple people explain it kind of like a Cuphead mixed with Bioshock or Cuphead mixed with Doom, and it kind of is that. But the gameplay, while it is fun and it is great, I think it's a little misleading, at least in like the beginning of the game, because you also have this whole detective aspect of the game that's actually really good as well. And to put it simply, it's just a great video game. It feels like something that here in 10 years or something, we're going to consider this one a cult classic. And I just really like the characters and the setting and everything, how it just comes together, because you're an investigator named Jack Pepper, a former war hero turned detective in a world where danger lurks even in the smallest mouse hole. Oh, and speaking of mouse, this game has mouse controls, and then it makes me laugh because it's mouse controls and you're playing as a mouse. Yeah, that's something there. So obviously I have to mention Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. This game is making me like fall over from laughing just by creating the characters and like the dialogue options, but it's so much more than that, right? I think the last Tomodachi game came out 13 years ago, which is crazy. And surprisingly, as much as the last Tomodachi game became like a cult classic, the Metacritic score I believe was only a 73. So just because it's not critically acclaimed or whatever does not mean you can't enjoy a game, right? Because I also think that game sold like 6 million copies on the 3DS. But what I'm trying to say is these games are not going to be for everybody. Like, for example, if you like Animal Crossing, you might like this, but in Animal Crossing, you're like kind of just in charge of every little thing that you do. In this game, it's all about the Miis, so you'll put 2 Miis together and try to make them become friends, or try to get them into a relationship. And you're kind of just setting up almost like this little simulation of all these people, and just seeing what they do, and then kind of pushing them to do other stuff. Now, I will say this, I am so happy Nintendo gave us an unfiltered game, right? Because whenever you're just putting your name on your Switch 2, like like the username. You can't even put cuss words there. But in Tomodachi Life, not only can you write the cuss words, you can make the Miis say whatever the hell you want them to say and make them look however you want them to look. And the only trade-off is we didn't get like an online share feature. So maybe you wanted to download somebody else's Mii or get some instructions. They didn't do that, but there is some workarounds online where people are making like their own websites or whatever, I guess. So I think all things considered, we got the better trade-off here. And it's just really cool that we got this game. And this actually might end up being one of the last big Switch games, which is kind of crazy because this game was in development for 9 years. Now earlier I said we're going to talk about 6 great games and then one game I was a little too hard on. And that game is Pokemon Champions, right? I am a lifelong Pokemon fan. I've been playing since the year 2000. Beat all the games, I collect the cards, watch the movies. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Pokemon Champions, I made a video saying this game sucks. But then I let it cook a little bit more. I removed some of the things that I was expecting just for like personal ones. And then I accepted the game for what it is. And it's a great just Pokemon battling game. I don't know if I'll say great, but it is a good Pokemon battling game. And I definitely think it's worth it for anybody who's a Pokemon fan, especially because the game is free. One of the best things, or the reason why we play Pokemon games over and over, is because we like collecting Pokemon, going on all these adventures. And it's like, yeah, you battle, but I mean, it's a big part of the game, and you know, getting the badges and then fighting the Elite Four. But you don't really, at least me, I don't really focus that much on battling. I just like the adventure aspect. And battling is just like second nature or whatever. But this is only battling. So this is really a game that is like made for the competitive scene. And that's cool. Not every game is going to be for everybody. And even spin-offs or whatever the hell you want to call this, like, yeah, it's a Pokemon game, but it's not a traditional Pokemon game, I guess. And maybe I was expecting too much. So when I take a step back, the game is not bad. I think I was just expecting something completely different. I think what I was expecting is maybe like a sequel to Pokemon Stadium or something like that. And unfortunately, that's not what this is. So if I can be honest, I was a little too hard on this game, and I still think it's worth checking out, and that's why I'm including it in this video. Now let's talk about a really interesting game called DOSA DIVAS. After years apart, Sister Samara and Amani journey with their ancient spirit mech on a mission to defeat a rotten fast food empire and reconnect communities with their traditions. You will platform through vibrant villages, battle corporate goons, reconcile with loved ones, and eat one last meal together before saying goodbye. I think they showed this off in an indie showcase or a partner direct or something, and I remember saying to myself like, yeah, that looks cool, but this will probably be the last time I even think about this game. You know, there's so many things coming out and so many other games on your radar. But then I was searching the eShop for random new games to check out or games that I should talk about, and I came across this game and I was like, whoa, that's a game from the Nintendo Direct. Wait, why didn't they explain it like this in the Direct? Why didn't they show off all this great gameplay and this really cool premise? And this game is freaking awesome. You will engage in a turn-based combat system where every attack packs some heat, especially when you time it right. Hitting the action button as a hit lands amplifies your attack damage and strengthens your blocks against enemy attacks. And then you can also use boost points at the start of your turn to multiply damage on attacks and skills. And then each character, you know, has their own thing going on. And then also, I really like this. I mean, it's a mech, but it's like I don't even know how to explain it. You can see what's going on. It's just this really strange, but really unique mech that you're able to use. And the art style is great. But yeah, this one is awesome. And unfortunately, it's probably going to end up a hidden gem because there's so many things coming out, and you know, it's almost like a blessing and a curse. It's like, oh no, I have so many games to check out. Oh no. But then unfortunately you miss some of the other games that are smaller that are also just really good. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you guys, did you hear a new Zelda game came out? Yeah. And it came out for the Switch and Switch 2, and you didn't hear about it? And you guys call yourselves Zelda fans? I could never be caught like that, man. I'm not even kidding. There's a new Zelda game. Well, not technically, but kinda. Close enough. There's a really cool game that came out recently called GECKO Gods. I know. How is this Something like The Legend of Zelda is probably what you're asking. But hold on, let me cook for a second. Because essentially, this game looks and plays exactly like a classic Zelda game, but you're just a gecko. Explore a mysterious island chain through the eyes of a tiny but mighty gecko and gecko gods, a serene puzzle adventure built around curiosity and movement. Wander freely through these sun-soaked ruins, hidden caves and ancient temples as you uncover the remnants of a lost civilization. Thanks to your gecko agility, you can scale walls, cling to ceilings, and reach areas no one else can. The world is your playground, and there's no wrong way to explore it. Between puzzles and platforming challenges, relax by sailing your little wooden boat from one island to the next. Each stop offers new puzzles, secrets to uncover, insects to snack on, and peaceful moments to enjoy. But there's also enemies that you can beat up with your little gecko self. I really don't know how else to explain this one, except it's like a classic Zelda game, but you're a gecko. There's platforming, there's an adventure to go on, there's great puzzles to figure out, really cool enemies, there's insects to eat, great music, a really cool art style. And again, unfortunately, this one's probably going to fly under the radar, but if you like Zelda or you like puzzle games or adventure games, this is probably one of those games you don't want to miss. And the last game I want to talk about today, I was on the fence about including it, but I thought it was good, so that's why I'm going to include it, and that is Darwin's Paradox. And I guess the only real argument you can make about this game, not wanting to play it on the Switch 2, is the graphics are not as good as, I guess, the PlayStation 5, but the gameplay is great. It's something I thought was a little too goofy to enjoy, and then I played the demo and I thought, wait, this is freaking awesome, especially because this is an octopus version of Metal Gear Solid, right? This is made by Konami. You're a little octopus doing stealth missions and sneaking around, and it's freaking awesome. So I'm not the biggest graphics snob. Now, I can understand if you expected it to look one way and it doesn't, but I think the game looks perfectly fine. Obviously, it's going to look better on PlayStation, and I could be wrong, or maybe I just don't care that much. But I think whatever the demo version was, and then the actual release version was on the Switch 2, the release version looked way better than the demo. So I don't know if that was an early build, or they updated it, or my eyes are messed up. If you want to play a really cool stealth game that is very video gamey, this game captures video games in their essence, I would say definitely check this one out, man. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. What games that are recent are you playing? What games are you going to pick up? What games might have came out that I actually missed? Just start a conversation. And if you made it all the way to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. That would be awesome. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member, because we are streaming every single Thursday and I would love to see you over there. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.